Thank you very much, Anita. And welcome to today's webinar. First of all, I'd like to thank the CAV for putting on this fantastic service. It's something that we have been doing now for about 12 months, and it's been a fantastic collaboration. With me today, while you will be hearing me talk for most of the next 45 minutes or so, are my colleagues Lorraine Collar and Tassie Mazakis. So if you have any questions in the chat room, please put it in writing, and Tassie and Lorraine will be monitoring those questions throughout the course of the webinar today. Now, just again, I do like to do sound checks, smiley faces from everyone if I'm coming through to you loud and clear. Thank you, everybody. That's fantastic. The session will be broken up into a few sections. So I'll be starting off with talking about applying for CEAS, talking about the CEAS categories for 2014, and some hints on impact and support statements. We also have had some really positive feedback from one careers counsellor who has enabled us to include some information in this webinar. Additional to what Anita just said as well, the recording of this webinar will be available through the CAV Members Lounge, CAV website, also on the VTAC website as well, the recording and the PowerPoint presentation. So if you do need to leave at any time, then there will be something available to you during the course of this week. I will stop at certain points in the session just to ensure that you have a chance to ask any verbal questions using your microphone. So I will let you know when I get to those points. There'll be 2 chances during the session and again a verbal Q&A at the end of the session if you have any questions at that time. So just to get started. Okay, so last year we put a lot of time and a focus into getting CEAS organised early. It's to the benefit, certainly to the benefit of students and also to careers practitioners as well. It's also, if you're organised early, if a student is organised early, it can also help you actually deal with any last minute things that happen in September and October. So it leaves everyone well prepared. And if you have students who do have suffered long-term disadvantage and you're aware of those disadvantages, again, it's best to get them to start making appointments with medical practitioners now or someone involved who understands their circumstances. That's the most important thing. So, and particularly if you're looking at teachers and students in regional areas, they may need to travel to go and see a practitioner, and getting appointments at times with practitioners at the last minute can be quite problematic. So we certainly do encourage people to get organised early and organised now. So here we are at the end of first term, and you can start maybe thinking, if you haven't already done so, about planning for this year with your students. So it's a really, this is why we'd like to get started early and to start thinking about it early. Try and sort of break the nexus in people's minds that CEAS is a 2-month process. It's primarily for students who have suffered long-term disadvantage. So if you're getting organised early, if the student's organised early, it can actually put people's minds at rest as well to know that the issues and the students' concerns are being properly addressed. Category 1 also is, last year was introduced. It's a tick box. Every student or every applicant through VTAC should apply for Category 1 of CEAS. Category 1 of CEAS now includes non-English speaking background. I'll be talking about the categories in the next few minutes or so. The non-English speaking background has been integrated into the Category 1. It's as simple as for students as ticking a box to be considered for the range of factors that are available under Category 1. CEAS deadline, like it has been in previous years, is the Tuesday after the return of Term 4. So this year that's the 7th of October at 5 p.m. So for those who may be new to VTAC, and if anyone is new, I'll go through some of the more basics of CEAS. So again, a smiley face if you are new to this, and I'll cover some of the basics. What CEAS does, CEAS stands for Special Entry Access Scheme. We do obviously refer to it as the acronym there. It allows selection officers at institutions to grant special consideration. So it allows them to consider the circumstances that may have impacted on the student's education. So what you're going to hear a lot of today is about the word impact and a lot about the word evidence. They are the two most, they are very important and enable institutions to properly assess the impact of circumstances on a student's education. However, it's as Suzanne likes to, the terminology Suzanne likes to use at the annual briefing sessions, it's not a get out of jail free card. It guarantees that students will be considered the circumstances, difficult circumstances, disability or medical condition, the factors in category 1 and financial background, but it doesn't exempt them from meeting course requirements. They still need to meet the course prerequisites, certainly in the case of Year 12 students, attend any requirements, any test, interviews. They must submit all required folios and forms. So yes, while CEAS will ensure they're considered for their circumstances, they still need to go about getting ready and preparing to meet the course requirements. Applying for CEAS. So we do actually have a mid-year application process opening shortly through VTAC for 2014. So to give you a little bit of a background, if you have any students who that you've counselled previously who come to you in the next few weeks or so, and they had applied through VTAC last year and had applied for CEAS, they can reactivate their application this year and they can edit their CEAS application once again. New applicants can apply for CEAS to coincide with their course entry at mid-year. When we open again in August for main round for courses that commence in 2015, applicants again will need to register through the VTAC website and set up a user account. Thank you very much for that, Anita. So once registered, applicants will need to create their course application, and CEAS becomes available once a course application has submitted. So at least it needs to be at least one preference in the student's course application for CEAS to become active. It's then fully editable up until the closing date. Thank you, Tassie, for that. Once submitted, it can be updated up until the closing date and time, which is 5 p.m. the 7th of October, and whatever obviously the student's last entities will be what they've submitted to CEAS. Also at that time as well, there will be demo applications as well, and that can give the students a really good chance to go in there and practice. And again, part of the preparation is even thinking about starting to prepare statements, our impact statements, and then from your end, statements of support as well. Okay, so all of it, again, CEAS the layout of CEAS for this year is obviously still to be finalised. However, all the last year, all the categories will be on one page, and it will look something like the example in the screenshot. So that's how CEAS will look, again, just to give you a bit of an idea at this early point of the year. Okay, before I move on to CEAS categories, I'm going to just go off the microphone for a second, and if anyone's got any questions they would like to ask, I'll give you a minute to talk into the microphone, and I'll endeavour to answer your questions.
Okay, to raise the hand button is the little hand icon. It's the third one from the left.
Okay, it doesn't seem to be anyone putting their hand up to do a verbal question at the moment. Please feel free to ask a question. There'll be another break shortly in order for you to do so. But please put any questions in the chat room, and Tassie and Lorraine will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. The categories of CEAS are essentially the same as in 2013-14. There's one less category, so there's not the number, the label of the categories just moved up by 1. So there will be 5 categories of CEAS. The change this year is that a non-English speaking background has been integrated into category 1, and all the other ones have moved up 1. So simply by ticking the box when they apply through VTAC, applicants can be considered for various things such as age, which is on a minimum age level for higher education and or vet courses. One that often gets missed is the gender one. and we like to talk about this at the briefing session. So, for example, gender is where a particular field where a gender is underrepresented. So generally you're looking at engineering type courses for female students and education nursing courses for male students. So we certainly encourage anyone who ticks that box to be considered under gender. All details of institutional criteria will be available in the VTC section of the VTAC guide and the VTAC website later in the year. So there's also living or school postcode that's based on the Australian Geographical Standards